Can somebody please tell me how to help? People are being kidnapped off the street. I'm protesting, I'm writing letters, I'm making phone calls, I'm making content, I'm reposting content. I don't know what else to do to help.
Hi, your video was the first one that I saw when I opened TikTok this afternoon, and I noticed that you follow my account, and I wanted to reply. The pain, the heartache, the empathy in your video was so palpable. And I understand that it feels like none of us are doing enough, and I understand that there is so much more that so many people could be doing. These are really scary times. The Trump regime is absolutely escalating their behavior because they are scared, because we are fighting back, because the opposition is building. And so, like your abusive ex-boyfriend, they are going to try to escalate their attempts to control you, to crack down, to terrorize you, to scare you into submission. This behavior is incredibly predictable. We knew they were going to do this. That does not make it less scary. That does not make it less evil. It doesn't make it less heartbreaking for us to watch people being brutalized, people being dragged out of their homes, people being kidnapped off the streets. At the time I am replying to your video, it has almost 600,000 likes. So please understand that you are by no means alone in your feelings, in your fear, and in your desire to help. You mentioned that you are already doing so many of the right things, protesting, making social media content, sharing social media content, calling your elected officials. I want you to know that those are absolutely the right things to be doing. And I know it feels like the small contributions that everyday people are making are not enough. But I want to gently remind you that feelings are not facts, and it is not up to you to save this country and to save the people that Trump is attacking all on your own. It is not up to you by yourself to end his reign of terror. Please understand that where we get our power and how we will stop this madness is through the collective small actions of millions of people. You do not have to shoulder doing all of the things. You and every other person who cares about democracy, who cares about human rights, who wants to love their neighbor, we all need to do our part. And together, our collective action will get the job done. When we look at the little things each of us are doing, it can feel completely insufficient. When we look at the rapidity and the extreme quantity of horrific actions that this regime is taking. But feelings are not facts. In fact, this regime wants you to feel alone and isolated. They want you to feel inadequate, incapable. They want you to feel small and unable to resist what they're doing. They want you to be demoralized. They want you to despair and give up. Please understand the big, overwhelming feelings that you are experiencing now. One, say something about what a good, kind, compassionate human being you are. But two, that is because the Trump regime is using psychological warfare tactics that are meant to get you to give up. And so we have to make a conscious effort to not let their psychological tactics work on us. We have to make a conscious effort to speak truth to ourselves, that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. You are doing the right things, and it is not up to you to do all of the things. Everybody has a role to play here. And when we all come together, that is where we find our power. We are all bringing forth the little pieces of the puzzle, the little components of the solution. Our power comes in our collective ability to exert influence and enact change. It is about all of us uniting together in solidarity, and we're each bringing our skills to play. We are each bringing our little contribution. It's like a river system. Right, there's those little tiny snowmelt streams high up in the mountains, and they're just a little trickle. And as they move downstream, they join with other little snowmelt streams, and they form together into a little bit of a wider brook, right? And that joins with other brooks. You have all of these tributaries feeding in until ultimately you end up with the Great Mississippi. We should not expect ourselves to be the headwaters of the Mississippi River. We need to understand that we are a little snowmelt stream. And that is okay, because we are joining with all of those other folks, and together we become that huge, powerful expanse of water. Together we have that collective power to erode the pillars of support underneath the Trump regime and make it topple. I just want to encourage you to keep doing the things that you're doing. Please understand this regime is escalating because what we are doing is working. But also, if you have the capacity to do more, we need everybody to join with our local grassroots groups. Find your local indivisible group. Find your local 5051. Get to know your neighbors. Have conversations. Forge relationships with them. Attend your neighborhood association meetings. Right now, we are building the muscle that will get us to the place where we can do the heavy lifting of stopping all of this horrible, horrible destruction that Trump is wreaking on this entire country. But we are still in the phase of building our muscles. We are still in the phase of running downstream to join the Great Mississippi. So we can get to that place where together we are that mighty rushing river that will get the job done. I want you to understand that what you are doing is important, it is necessary, it is absolutely work you should continue to engage in. It feels like it's not enough, but your contributions do matter when they are added together with what millions of other people are doing. And there are millions of us that are working, and we are building those bonds. We are building that solidarity movement. We are starting to lay the groundwork so that we can work up to those really big actions that will inevitably pull down the Trump regime. But also, please understand that what you're doing now has an impact. The reason that universities and law firms have stood up to Trump, the reason that some of those pillars of support have said, we're no longer going to cooperate, is because they have already seen the collective action of regular, everyday Americans like you and like me. They are looking at millions of people who turned out on Hands Off April 5th, millions of people who turned out on April 19th, millions of people who turned out on May Day. And they are taking their cues from us. They are deciding to resist because they see us resisting. That is really good and necessary work. When you do that, you are making a difference. You are making those larger, more powerful institutions and people start to withdraw their support. Please understand that what you are doing now is making change happen. Yes, there is more that needs to be done. In particular, those folks that are not doing much of anything yet, we need to draw them in. We need more people to get involved. It's not up to you to solely fix this. It's not up to you to feel like you have to save everybody. What it is up to you and me and all of us that are already involved to do is to bring other folks in to shoulder the burden with us, bring other folks in to help contribute. Those new people that we draw in, they will bring their energy, their creativity, their ideas, their resources, right? Get your neighbors, get your friends, get your family members to contribute their little tributary. Everybody is needed in this work. I understand all of the feelings that you're feeling now and all of the heartache that you are experiencing. I don't know how anybody could watch that footage from Worcester, Massachusetts this week and not have the same reaction that you had. And honestly, as painful as that reaction is, one, it's important for us to bear witness, but two, the fact that so many people are horrified by this, the fact that so many people are leaning in to their humanity, the fact that so many people watching that footage are activated to say, what else can I do? I want to do more. That's a really good sign. That's a really good sign. It says that we in America, MAGA doesn't represent us. The cruelty of this regime does not represent us. Do not let the horrific things that MAGA is doing demoralize you, cause you to shut down, cause you to give up. Do not let it tip you into despair. Let it connect you to your humanity, but also let it spurn you to act, right? You're asking, what more can you do? That's the right response. That's the right response. And I know for me, watching footage of ICE brutalizing innocent people, and I know for me initially when I watch footage of the brutality of this regime, I very quickly let whatever emotions I'm feeling convert into anger. One of the things that Dr. Erica Chenoweth said is that when you look at nonviolent resistance, when you look at successful movements in toppling authoritarian regimes, that there are two key emotions that help drive people forward, get them motivated, get them acting. And the first one is hope, and the second one is anger. So I don't allow myself to feel despair when I watch those videos. I feel sad, but I very quickly let that sadness convert on over into anger. I draw my hope from connecting with other people who are actively resisting and seeing how large the movement is, how many good people there are, how committed we all are to restoring our democracy and protecting human lives. That hope is really motivating for me, but boy, when I add a big dose of anger to it, I'm raring to go. Let's go. Let's get the work done. That is what energizes me. That's what gives me the capacity to level up. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with 4 million people so far. Thank you for being willing to do that. I hope it helps more people get activated because we've got a lot of work to do.